This is Christopher John Björkness. It is December 20th, 2024. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Many people are tremendously concerned by the drones that are being spotted across the densely populated East Coast of the United States. And many people have written to me asking me to break down what's going on and to lend my insights into what I think is happening and what's going to be the end result of all this. And I've been covering this for years. About a year and a half ago, I did a series of videos explaining the beliefs of Rudolf Steiner. And I talked about the fact that the Kabbalists are masking their belief in angels and demons behind UFOs and extraterrestrials. And Steiner let the cat out of the bag and revealed the fact that these extraterrestrial UFOs and these angels and demons are going to appear to us as machines. And these machines are going to be composed of the matter of chaos, and therefore they will have demonic souls. They were not created out of the divine light like human beings. They don't have the divine spark of a human soul, but they do have the demonic Ahrimanic, in the Zoroastrian terms that Steiner used, of demons. And I'm going to be showing you the Talmudic texts and the Judaic explanation that there are supposedly demons flying all around us all the time. And if our eyes could see properly, we would see 1,000 demons to our left and 10,000 demons to our right. Those of you who have studied mysticism probably know that there's this concept of the astral plane. And throughout Kabbalistic lore and in the Midrash and Talmud, these demons exist in this astral plane, and they catch your prayers and they keep them from going up to God so that your prayers aren't answered. They distort them and they cause all kinds of bad things to happen to you. So there's this very, very ancient tradition that there are demons hovering around in the sky. And of course, they really don't exist, but their role is to be played, as Steiner pointed out, by new machines, intellectual machines, machines with artificial intelligence. And he anticipated all that. But the intelligence would be evil. It would be demonic. And we now have these satellites connecting the World Wide Web, and they are building these air forces, these aerial armies of these drone spiders. And this is very ominous, and I suspect the ultimate intentions are completely pernicious. If you've been following my work, you know I deal heavily in the concept that we are to be treated as scapegoats. And as the Greeks pointed out with their concept of the pharmakos, the scapegoat, the person to cleanse the tribe of its sins, has to suffer horribly in order for those sins to be cleansed. In order for sins to be cleansed in the God's eyes, there has to be punishment. So the scapegoat, the pharmakos, the Jesus Christ figure, is scourged. He's punished. He's beaten. He's killed. In the case of the Greeks, he was often pushed off of a cliff onto the rocks to be murdered in that way. And before they would do that, they would beat him horribly with thorns and whips. And they'd pluck out his beard, rip out his hair. All that became the idea of the goat being the scapegoat, being chased and having its hair plucked out and being scourged and punished, and all that is exemplified by Jesus Christ being beaten and scourged and the 39 lashes and then being crucified so that he suffers. They want us to suffer so that we become their scapegoat and so that the gods feel that punishment, justice, has been enacted upon us. And the key figure in enacting justice upon these scapegoats, it should be upon the sinners, but they found a loophole to pass it off onto the scapegoat. And Satan is the tempter. Satan is the witness of sins. Satan is the tempter of sins. Satan is the accuser of sins. And Satan is the punisher of sins. And Satan, Samael, in Judaic mythology, can float around in this astral plane, as well as down in Gehenna, in hell, in the subterranean regions of the earth. Christians tend to view him as only being subterranean, but the Judaists see him chiefly in the skies with this army of fellow demonic angels. So this demonic army is going to be manufactured out of drones. Drones are going to be the witness. They're going to spy on us, just like, and they're going to have facial recognition. They're going to be able to see heat signatures and bodies, and they're going to be weaponized. They're going to be the punisher. They're going to be able to drop bombs on you. They're going to have directed energy weapons, potentially, if they can minimize the energy sources to the point where it's efficient. Satellites are going to play the same roles. So we have this satanic role playing by these drones. They're the tempter. They're the accuser. They're the witness. They're the punisher. All these roles are going to be played on the surface of the earth by the robots that they're going to be constructing in the hundreds of millions, together with these hundreds of millions of drones. And these are all going to be linked to the singularity, and they're all going to exist to torture us and to punish us and to turn our world into hell so that we suffer as the scapegoat for the sins of the tribe. And that will cleanse them so that they can enter into their new messianic era. But the messianic era is precipitated by the apocalypse. And these drones are also going to play a role in the apocalypse. They're going to kill off any remnant of survivors, anyone who makes it through the chemical warfare, the biological warfare, the conventional warfare, the nuclear warfare. These drones are going to be swarming the earth and killing off all of those people who survive. They are the punisher. They're going to witness your sins. They're going to tempt you to sin with aerial shows. The robotics on the surface of the earth are going to become sex slaves that are going to tempt sin. They're going to witness the sin. They're going to record it as it happens. They're going to accuse people of it, and then they're going to punish them. They're going to punish them by torturing them. They're going to punish them by killing their children in front of them. They're going to make this as horrific as they possibly can, and they're going to justify it based upon the mythology that we are all their scapegoats, and the more that we suffer, the more their sins are cleansed. It's the most unjust, psychotic, psychopathic belief system one can imagine. But it's being rolled out. It's happening now. I've been predicting it for 30 years. I hope that people take it seriously. I have a book of solutions out called Intelligent Morality. We are entering now the phase where Chevlei Mashiach, the birth pangs of the Messiah, are coming to an end on January 20th when Trump is inaugurated. That will be when the Messiah, son of David, the King Messiah, is born, and we're in that, the coming to the end of the tribulation. Israel is completely defeating Iran. Mashiach ben Yosef, Benjamin Netanyahu, has defeated Iran. And don't forget about those pagers exploding that blew off people's groins, that blew off their fingers and took out their eyes, so that anyone who survived would bear witness to these horrors, to this scapegoating, that the punishment for the sins of the Israelis for mass murdering people in Gaza was then passed along to the scapegoat, Hezbollah. and Hamas. And then Hezbollah and Hamas were punished for the sins of the Israelis to cleanse them. The next in line, as I said, would be the Syrians, and that has now happened. I predicted that 20 years ago. And the next in line is King Shiroi of Persia and the Persians. And then we're going to have the war of Gog and Magog, and drones are playing a key role in these wars. It started off with slaughtering the Amalekite Armenians. One of the first major drone battles was when the Azerbaijanis defeated the Armenians. Prior to that, the Armenians were very successful with their artillery and their tough fighters and their army, and they had good mountainous regions from which to wage warfare with their artillery. Drones made that obsolete, and the Azeris, who had no chance against the Armenians prior to that, were able to beat them. They beat them with Israeli drones, and to a lesser extent with Turkish drones. And we now see in the war between Russia and Ukraine the critical role that drones are playing in this warfare. Now, in Judaic mythology, there were the 10 plagues of Egypt, and the 8th plague was the locusts. In the War of the Apocalypse, in many of the Jewish apocalypses that I've read, they have the same pattern of these 10 plagues. And the role of the locusts in the modern apocalypse, the 10 plagues of the modern apocalypse, is that role of the plague of the locusts. They're going to be the ones up in the sky. And they have tremendous potential for harm. Now, as I was explaining about a year and a half ago, they want us to believe that there are extraterrestrials who are both angels and demons, so that we look up to the sky for our salvation, but we also look up to the sky in fear. The same is going to occur with the robots on the ground. They're potentially going to be portrayed as demons coming out of the earth. And we have the government now ludicrously telling us that there have been sightings of these extraterrestrials coming down from the heavens and then going subterranean or into the oceans, and that these creatures are going to emerge. And all of these robotics are to have this demonic spirit, and they will probably try to delude people into believing that others of these robotic devices, drones, satellites, ground-based robots, etc., will be the angelic forces as well. So they have scripted all of this for thousands of years, and they now have the artificial means to bring it about. And also another way that they're going to use these as the punishers, not only drones up in the air, dropping bombs on people, murdering their families, blowing up buildings, destroying automobiles. They're also going to have robot dogs. The Chinese are manufacturing them in mass quantities to serve as the punisher, the enforcer, also to serve as the witness and the accuser. And again, as the tempter, they will tempt you to sin. They want you to sin. They want you to sin, and they want to punish you, and they want to make your life hell. They want to turn the entire earth into Satan's kingdom of hell. They want to block out the sun god Ra with geoengineering, so that their god, Seth Typhon, and the god of darkness becomes the ruler of the chaos of the earth. And I'll show you at the end, I have some videos where I go very much more deeply into those Kabbalistic metaphysics and ontology and cosmology, and how all of this is being deliberately engineered to convert the earth into hell so that we suffer as their pharmakos, as their scapegoat, so that their sins are cleansed through our suffering. And since they're such intense sinners, they really want us to suffer. They want us to look at our children and see their flesh burn off of their bones, as they've done to the Palestinians. And as horrific as what has happened to the Palestinians, what they have planned for the rest of us is even worse. And this is going to ratchet up very quickly leading up to the election. And it's going to get worse and worse as long as we tolerate it. I propose we create a new society, that we do not pretend that this technology is indeed an evil force, but that we develop our own superior technology so that we can defend ourselves from them. And when we build this new society, they're going to try to turn the whole world against us. So we have to be highly intelligent, not fear technology, and to develop superior technology. After World War II, the British took the industrial capital, the machine tools, etc., from Germany and Japan, and they thought they were doing something smart. But what they got was the old, obsolete equipment. And then the Japanese and the Germans, over the decades, developed the newest state-of-the-art manufacturing equipment. And in that way, we're able to leapfrog over Great Britain. We can do the same. As they develop their technology, if we take that and then build on top of that, we will have the new state-of-the-art next generation stuff, which will be superior to their stuff. And in that way, we'll be able to defend ourselves from them. And you really got to watch out, because all of this stuff is potentially booby-trapped. All the brain chips, all the satellite linking. Note how all of this is being incorporated with this demonic artificial intelligence that's all going to be linked together. So let me get into the Talmudic lore, and then I'll get into, I'll go over again what Rudolf Steiner said, and then I'll bring up some of the videos I made about 1.5 years ago, I guess, where you can go if you're interested deeply in the heart of the Kabbalistic matter. You can look into those videos, and I delve into it much more deeply. Right now, I want to deal more with the pragmatic, technical aspects of this, and how it is the fulfillment of this ancient mysticism, that in this astral plane, they're going to fill it with these drones, these demons, as they view it. So one of the primary texts is Barakot, folio 6a in the Babylonian Talmud. I pulled this down from the William Davidson Talmud on the Sefaria.org website. If the eye was given permission to see, no creature would be able to withstand the abundance and ubiquity of the demons and continue to live unaffected by them. They're going to replicate this with these drones and the robots that they're going to surround us with. Each and every one of us has 1,000 demons to his left and 10,000 to his right. God protects man from these demons, as it says in the verse, 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand. They will not approach you. When the Talmud talks about you, it's only talking about the members of the tribe. It does not include us. One who seeks to know that the demons exist should place fine ashes around his bed, and in the morning the demons' footprints appear like chickens' footprints in the ash. One who seeks to see them should take the afterbirth of a firstborn. Firstborns are the Gentiles, the Egyptians. Female black cat born to a firstborn female black cat, burn it in the fire, grind it, and place it in his eyes, and he will see them. I think I'm going to pass on that. So they have this belief, and it's current among the rabbis. You can hear rabbis discussing it. There's supposedly demons flying all around us, and if we could see them, then we would see them. These demons are going to be manufactured as these drones, the apocalyptic plague of the drone locusts, the spiders, the flying spiders in the sky, as Steiner called them. So this is also from the Talmud, Hagigah, folio 16a. I think it goes into 17a as well. The Gemara returns to discussing the heavenly beings. The sages taught, and remember, Satan is a heavenly being, Samael. He's on the planet Mars, Gevurah, Din, punishment, and power. And he's very important in Judaism. He's a great figure in Judaism. 6 statements were said with regard to demons. In 3 ways, they are like ministering angels. And in 3 ways, they are like humans. The Baraita specifies in 3 ways they are like ministering angels. They have wings like ministering angels. Demons have wings like drones. And they fly from one end of the world to the other like ministering angels. And they know what will be in the future like ministering angels. They know they have artificial intelligence. They have wings. They are drones. 6 statements were said with regard to humans. In 3 ways, they are like ministering angels. In 3 ways, they are like animals. In 3 ways, they are like ministering angels. They have intelligence, artificial, demonic, Ahrimanic intelligence, like ministering angels, and they walk upright like ministering angels, like all the robotics they're starting to build. And they speak in the holy tongue like ministering angels. The holy tongue is Hebrew. Also from the Babylonian Talmud, Gittin, folio 66a. The Gemara objects, demons too can appear in human form. Think of the robots that they're building. And therefore, the fact that the being looked human is not proof that it is not a demon. The Gemara explains, it is a case where they saw that he has a shadow. And then the Rabbeinu Baya Vayikra, Leviticus 17:7. Seeing that animal sacrifice substitutes for man's dying for his sins, we are that animal sacrifice. If such an animal has been killed for secular consumption, it is considered as if the killer had killed a human being. They actually do kill human beings as human sacrifices, so that they will no longer offer their sacrificial offerings to the he-goats, the demons, Samael, and his army of angelic demons. Alternatively, these apparitions were known as demons because they would dwell in regions which are not inhabited by man, such as wildernesses, deserts, regions too cold for humans to be comfortable in. Azazel resides in the wilderness. The ancient Hebrews, Judeans used to sacrifice goats out in the desert, out in the wilderness, in the cycles of the moon, so that those goats would serve as scapegoats and take away their sins. And we are also scapegoats to take away their sins. These demons were primarily composed of only 2 of the 4 elements which man is made of, i.e. of fire and air. This is very important because in recent years they are creating forest fires all over the world, and they're trying to up the moisture in the atmosphere. The moisture is the worst greenhouse gas that causes reflectance, that causes the absorption of the heat from the sun to up the temperatures on the surface of the earth. So in the name of fighting climate change, they are actually creating a greenhouse effect by upping the moisture, and they're increasing temperatures, and they're doing this deliberately. When they block out the sunlight from the sky through geoengineering, they are preventing it from causing evaporations over the oceans. That also increases the temperature, because the net effect of the photons striking water is to create evaporation, which has a cooling effect. So in everything that they're doing to fight supposedly climate change, they are creating an even worse greenhouse environment that causes surface temperatures to escalate. They are also starting forest fires around the world. And as I pointed out previously, this is also being done as part of this mythology, because demons are composed of those two elements. And they are composed of fire and moisture. So they are feeding in their minds the growth and reproduction of demons by sending up this smoke from the fires. And the best demonic smoke is the burning of human flesh. Yahweh, Seth Typhon, savors the smell of burning flesh. It is sweet to their satanic gods, and it is utilized by the satanic gods to foster the growth of demons. So all of this is occurring at the same time. It is on purpose. It is to make climate change worse. It is to create a worse greenhouse environment to heat the temperatures of the earth. Hell is hot as hell. And they are doing all this on purpose, again, to engineer the earth into hell. How will they survive this? They will go underground. They believe that paradise, the Garden of Eden, has an entrance in the cave of the patriarchs. And they are planning to create a Noah's Ark underground where they will survive the apocalypse, the cleansing of the earth. But they also want this period of atonement, the final day of atonement. And a day for them can last 1,000 years. They want this day of atonement where we suffer for all of their historic sins against their gods, their sins of disobedience, their sins of the golden calf. They want us to suffer for that so that they are redeemed and can create a new heaven and a new earth in the world to come, Olam Haba. And I have a book on that at my website, CJBBooks.com, called Beware the World to Come. And all of my predictions for the last 30 years have been 100% accurate and are happening right now, as anyone who has followed my work knows. So it is vital to understand that there are two aspects of what's going on. There is the practical Kabbalah of building the drones, and then there is the spiritual Kabbalah of how they believe religiously this relates to their gods and to what the Chazal, their sages, said as their plan, which they must follow and which they are bringing to fruition right now. So they're setting the fires and they're shooting smoke up into the atmosphere. They're doing some of this in the name of fighting climate change, but what they're really doing in their minds is feeding the 1,000 demons on the left and the 10,000 demons on the right to breed, to make even more, so that it's 1 million on the left and 10 million on the right, so that we live in a world of hell where they can perpetually torture us and utilize artificial intelligence, robotics, drones, satellites to serve all the roles of Satan as tempting us to sin, witnessing our sin, accusing us of our sin, and then punishing us for our sin. But it's actually their sin because we are the scapegoat, the pharmakos. These demons were primarily composed only of 2 of the 4 elements which man is made of, i.e., of fire and air, spirit. Seeing that they are also light in weight, they can fly all over at will, just like drones. At the time of their creation, they were composed of only 2 elements instead of the 4 elements which human beings, animals, as well as the plants have in common. I explain how all this relates to the great chain of being in a video that I'm going to show you in a moment. As a result, instead of possessing solid bodies such as human beings and animals, which therefore are tangible and easily recognizable, these demons are of such transparent shape that they can easily be seen and identified. However, they are able to assume a visible form, cannot be easily seen and identified. However, they are able to assume a visible form when they so desire by dressing up as if they were humans or animals. Their bodies are essentially spiritual in nature, and now they are machine in nature, as Steiner, who we're going to get to next, documented. This is what our sages, Hagigah 16, which I showed you previously, meant when they said that when we told of 6 features possessed by these demons to help us identify them in 3 respects, they are like human beings, where in another 3 respects they are like angels, i.e. disembodied creatures. These demons have wings, drones have wings, can fly, drones can fly, have foreknowledge of future events just like the angels. They're all going to be part of the singularity and benefit from artificial intelligence. And they're going to know the future because they're going to make the future. Their knowledge is not the result of their intelligence. Rather, they have overheard such information, which abounds in the celestial regions. Originating with God, God reveals such information to the Matzalat, horoscopes, etc. The heavens are for signs to indicate to humans what the future holds. The demons overhear this, being able to move in those regions up in the astral plane and above. In fact, it is logical that the demons possess such knowledge. If even birds are aware of future events and communicate them by means of their twittering, and the diviners came by their foreknowledge of events through having learned to decipher the twittering of birds, then demons, which fly much higher in much more rarefied regions than the birds, are certainly privy to such information. These drones are going to be gathering information, spying on us, being the satanic witness. Whatever knowledge of impending events either of the birds or the demons possess relates only to events in the near term, but neither birds nor demons have foreknowledge of events in the distant future. They are used for espionage, as are the satellites. The Talmud did not mean that the demons eat the kind of food humans eat, seeing that humans are composed of 4 elements, some very tangible and substantive. The food requirements of humans are similar, i.e. man requires what is known as solid food. The demons, being composed of very light elements only, naturally do not require solid food. Their requirements are limited to fragrances needed by the fire in their components and by moisture to replenish the moisture lost through its association with fire, its other components. The fire dried out some of the natural moisture. This is all classical alchemy going back to Aristotle and far beyond that. Hence, this moisture needs replacement, and Empedocles and many others. The reason the sages in the Talmud compared the eating of the demons to our eating habits is only to describe that just as man's body uses up fat as he does not eat if liquid, and liquid if he does not drink, and replaces those sources of energy in order to revive these vital parts, so the demons need to eat and drink because of parallel considerations. They need to eat and drink fire and moisture, which is why there are forest fires all over the globe, especially in past years, and why they're shooting moisture into the atmosphere. When pagans burn up sacrifices to these demons, they do so in order to feed them. When the Israelis burn up the Palestinians, when they burn up the Lebanese and the Syrians, they're about to burn up some Iranians. They're about to burn us up. It is to feed these demons as sacrifices, so these demons scapegoat us for their sins. The smoke from the animals being burned provide the fragrance and the moisture these demons require. And you will see in the Old Testament that they talk about how Yahweh loves the smell of burning flesh. Regarding the matter of demons flying described in the Talmud, as comparable to the flight of angels, this is due to the lightness of their bodies. If birds can fly, then these demons obviously can fly even better because they're drones now and satellites spying on us, preparing to punish us, accusing us. So this is Rudolf Steiner. And I'm at the website that's dedicated to him. It has good English translations of things that Steiner wrote and said in his speeches. And the people who prepared this website, it's a wonderful website, went through and highlighted many of the things that Steiner had to say, and they wanted to call people's attention to how this is manifesting as the World Wide Web. And I say it is manifesting as drones and robotics. And the thing to really keep in mind is that Steiner said these would cover the entire earth, that there would be a locust plague in the sky, and there would be a spider plague on the earth. And this is being deliberately manifested as these hundreds of millions of drones and satellites and robots that they are presently constructing to oppress us and to turn our world into hell, where Satan is poking his finger in our eye. Satan's boot is on our head, perpetually punishing and torturing us. And they are progressively turning the earth into greater and greater hell. And they are driving human beings into the chaotic state of matter by cutting off our food source, just as they cut off the Indians' food source of bison to exterminate the Indians. They are cutting off our meat supplies, our egg supplies, our chicken supplies, our dairy supplies, our milk. And if they can't cut them off, they poison them. They create genetically modified organisms. They encourage us to eat synthetic foods manufactured out of minerals. In that great chain of being, we are elevated back up to God by consuming plants and animals and consuming the souls, the sparks of the souls that they contain. They are replacing all that food with food that has no spark of a soul, so that we become demonic in the same sense that robotics and drones are demonic with their artificial intelligence. So they are driving us down into hell so that we cannot ascend back up into heaven, where we supposedly originated as divine sparks and as souls that were only later placed into material bodies. And that's some of the Kabbalistic, Gnostic, and Neoplatonic mythology that Steiner relies upon to reveal the fact that the people he was in contact with, the Gnostics, the Theosophists, etc., were planning all this. And just as alchemy with its homunculi has eventually produced chemistry and artificial insemination, and now completely artificially created organisms from male skin cells converted into eggs and male seed put into a glass dish, just like the homunculi, to create what they call human beings. Steiner was relying upon all this ancient mythology to portray what he knew was coming in the real world as the technological marvels of our 21st century. This is from, I believe it's a lecture 14 of 17, a picture of Earth evolution in the future. The future is now. And from the earth there will spring forth a terrible brood of beings, a brood of automata, meaning robots, meaning drones, meaning satellites, of an order of existence lying between the mineral and the plant kingdoms, and possessed of an overwhelming power of intellect, an artificial intelligence that is demonic and evil. This swarm will seize upon the earth, will spread over the earth like a network of ghastly spider-like creatures, swarming drones, swarming robots, swarming robotic dogs, of an order lower than that of plant existence, but possessed of overpowering wisdom. Wisdom is female, wisdom is chaos, wisdom is Satan. Samael. These spidery creatures will all be interlocked with one another in the singularity and in their networks in the sky and on the earth. The earth will be surrounded as it is now with air and as it sometimes is with swarms of locusts, the 8th plague of Egypt, this plague of the apocalypse, with a brood of terrible spider-like creatures, half mineral, half plant, interweaving with masterly intelligence, artificial intelligence, which is now exceeding human intelligence in its ability to generate knowledge and imagery. It is true, but with intensive evil intent. Pay careful attention to that statement. These are demons they are introducing into our lives to govern our lives and to turn our lives into hell deliberately, intensely evil intent. This is horrifying, and it is becoming our reality. Just as when COVID hit, the government is gaslighting us. They are deliberately creating a hysteria around these drones, just as Chavlei Mashiach, the birth pangs of the Messiah, are about to end. This portends a very ominous, immediate future. We have to prepare for that. I have proposals to prepare for that in my book, Intelligent Morality. And you can find links to that at cjbbooks.com. You can also find links where you can contribute. And again, I want to thank my contributors. Thank you for the Bitcoin. It was incredibly helpful. Thank you to my regular contributors who keep me going. I am deeply appreciative of all of you, and this would not happen without you. Thank you. He will have to live together with these spider-like creatures, he being man. And the concrete reality is that the intellectual thoughts evolved inwardly by men today will in time come to creep over the earth like the spider's web wherein human beings will be enmeshed. Think of Neuralink, think of brain chips, think of our minds being connected to these drones and robots and to the singularity. If they will not reach out to a world lying beyond and above in their shadowy thoughts and concepts, that also means that these drones, these robots, can impose thoughts into our minds, just as cell phones do, by controlling our imagery, by controlling the language that is spoken in our consciousness, by hitting us with memes and with words and language that manipulate our thoughts continually and control us. When the shadowy thoughts of modern times will become spidery creatures having a concrete existence, drones and robots, that part of his being which will one day be woven into the network of spider-like creatures extending over the earth and regulated by the singularity. The brood of spidery creatures that will spread over the earth as drones and robots are. The human will is threatened with being deprived of spiritual impulses and with becoming involved in the spidery web that will creep over the earth. They're taking over our thoughts. They control everything they think that we think. They're shortening people's attention spans with TikTok and with X and with all forms of social media. People don't often read books anymore. They can't even sit through movies anymore. Everything is being fed to us. They're creating virtual reality goggles. We are becoming completely detached from the physical world and existing in an artificial world, which is being created by artificial intelligence to control all our perceptions. This is ultimately going to render everyone psychotic and put them through perpetual torture until they believe they have cleansed themselves of their sins through us, the scapegoat, suffering the same way Jesus Christ suffered for them to bear their sins and save the nation, as Caiaphas says in the Gospels. That's to be our fate. And it's happening to us. People are suffering from anxiety, from psychoses, from neuroses, which are being artificially generated. And our minds are being taken away from us. And this artificial reality is being put in their place. And it's a horrible one. It's a one of constant tension, of anticipation that horrific events are about to unfold. And people get so caught up into reacting and exposing what's already happened that they are doing nothing to plan for the future and to build a new future where they have control over their own fate. And in this way, they are surrendering their fate to their enemies and making it a fait accompli that we are all going to suffer in this hell, when all we need do is leapfrog over them, take advantage of the technologies they have already developed, and then develop superior technologies and keep them secret from them so that we can defend ourselves and defend our new society. The human will is threatened with being deprived of spiritual impulses and with becoming involved in the spidery web that will creep over the earth. That's the chaos of hell, of Satan, the kingdom of Satan that they're turning the earth into. The shadowy intellect will be able to unite with the spider beings who will spin their web over the earth to come. We're going to have Neuralink and other ways of linking to this network of drones and robots and the singularity. Intellect will then be objectivized in the very limbs and tentacles of these spidery creatures, who in all their wonderful interweavings and caduceus-like convulsions will present an amazing network of intricate forms. Nietzsche, of course, had no concrete perception of the valley of death into which existence will be transformed when the spidery brood of which I speak, of which I have spoken, spreads over the earth, as it is today and as it is on the East Coast with swarms of drones, will become one with the brood of spidery creatures of which I have been speaking. Again, this wonderful website put together all of these quotes and then bolded the most significant ones. There are a great many above this that I highlighted, but it's pretty repetitive of what I just read for you. These materialistic thoughts will then bring forth a terrible race of automatic beings, robots, drones, satellites, computers, cell phones, the Internet of Things, who stand in their nature between the plant and mineral kingdoms. That's far away from the kingdom of God. And we are in between that and the kingdom of God and have a choice. We can follow the right-hand path and ascend to God, or we can follow the left-hand path down into the mineral kingdom and join with Satan and supposedly become our own gods and create our own kingdoms of hell, just as Satan did. They will be endowed with great power of intellect and understanding. Intellect, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, Satan's domain, and will enclose the earth in a kind of net or spider's web. Machinery is really thought poured into mineral. All modern unreal thoughts will become endowed with being. As the earth is today enclosed in an atmosphere, these mineral-like spiders terribly evil, weaving into each other, will cover the earth like gnats in the air, like drones in the air, like satellites. He will have to unite his own being, as far as it is not spiritual, with this spider race. He will have to live with it and continue his evolution in the midst of it. No, we don't have to live with this. We can oppose it. We have rights, but those rights will only be manifest if we enforce them ourselves. We cannot depend upon our enemies to recognize and honor our rights. There are people who are aware of this and yet desire to hold evolution back. They are conscious allies of these spider beings, whom they know from ancient traditions. Humanity will seek this union with the spider race. This means the further development of shadowy thought in cosmic existence. When we make a machine or a complex of machines from raw materials, we plant certain spiritual beings in the thing we construct. The thing we make is by no means devoid of spirit. I hit this much more thoroughly in the YouTube videos, which I'm going to direct you to next. You can find them at my YouTube channel, CJB Books, on YouTube. There's a link to that in my website, cjbbooks.com. At the bottom of the webpage, you'll find links to my social media, and I'm going to give you the titles of those in just a moment. The effect technology has on us is that we stuff ourselves full of Ahrimanic spirits. Those are satanic spirits, demonic spirits. We really stuff ourselves completely with them. So whenever you're on your cell phone, whenever you're on X, you are being stuffed with the evil spirit that is implicit in anything that is created out of chaos, out of the mineral world, out of the material world, as opposed to the light of God, the divine sparks of the soul in this set of mythologies. What are we doing when we take things from nature and put them together in the machines and apparatus which we use in everyday life? We are not just putting pieces of matter together. Every time we put pieces of matter is chaos, matter is Satan, we are giving a demonic, Ahrimanic servant an opportunity to unite with the machine. These drones are demons. They are to make our lives hell. Same is true of the robots they're going to produce. But we can step out of these mythologies and make machines that actually serve us and get rid of all this garbage mythology. We give a starting point to the Ahrimanic, demonic elemental spirits and servants in every machine and mechanism. Every computer, every robot that they build, every drone that they make, every satellite they put up, these are weapons against us. These are demonic weapons in their intent. Everything that belongs to present-day civilization. When we live around machines, we are living together with demonic, Ahrimanic, elemental spirits. Out of the spider thoughts of today will then turn into spider beings, that part of man that one day will be woven into the spider cover of the earth. And I think the drones are to play a role in that. And he talked about them as the locusts, as in the eighth plague on Egypt. And I say as the plague on us. So those of you who are interested in the deeper Kabbalah of all this, the Neoplatonism and the Gnosticism, which were appropriated and turned into Kabbalah, I have a couple videos I made about a year and a half ago. I also did several interviews and produced several other videos. If you go to my YouTube channel, and you go back about a year and a half where these videos are to be found. Under the videos section, you'll see lots of related videos around there that you can poke around and watch if you want to learn more about this, the really, really deep esoteric stuff. So this was my video. Rudolf Steiner predicted in 1921, man-made demons with artificial intelligence will destroy the world, as drones are now doing as weapons against us. I go into a lot of what I've talked about, but in much greater esoteric and Kabbalistic understanding. This is that great chain of being that I was talking about, and I won't go over it again. You'll be better served just to watch this full video that I did. And here's another one. Secret Kabbalistic mysteries of demons and space aliens exposed. This also goes through and gives those quotes, some of which I just read off and I explained, and also in interviews around this period. Go to videos and then keep going way, way down. In this time frame, when I was talking about the fact that they are mimicking the Egyptians and want to take over the Egyptian empire, I have a lot of videos that you'll find interesting where I exposed all of my insights into all of this. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are being set up. They are creating a hell on earth in which we will exist in a kingdom of chaos. We will lose the divine sparks of our souls, and we will be made to suffer the worst possible tortures, witnessing our children being murdered, our wives being raped, the world going to hell, everything that we believed in being destroyed, our privacy completely taken away from us, being humiliated and disgraced on every level, every positive aspect of our culture and heritage, and our souls being stripped from us and turned against us and weaponized to destroy us. They literally want to put us into hell. They literally want to convert the surface of the earth to hell. They're going to spend and sit all this out in their subterranean Noah's Ark as they perpetrate this apocalypse against us that I've been forecasting for 30 years. Please pay attention to what I am telling you. Your life depends upon it, and we got to do something about it. Me explaining all this doesn't accomplish anything if we don't do anything to stop it and to build something to replace it and to create a homeland where we can survive it. If enough people lack the intelligence and the insight to do that, then we will be coexisting with the enemy that is imposing all of this on humanity. And if we survive it, we will be the only force available to regenerate humanity, because they plan to convert themselves into immortal androgynes that have two faces, literally two faces, or two heads, or a face on one side male and on the other female. They have all kinds of different historical plans as to how they're going to bring this about, and it depends upon how successful they are in each stage of what they do, how far they're going to take it. But they pretty much have the technologies evolved to breed their homunculi in glass jars to create androgynous, what they would call human beings that have both male and female hermaphroditic sexual organs, have literally two heads or literally two faces, depending upon which Kabbalistic and Talmudic interpretation those at the very top ultimately want to pursue, and where the genetics itself leads them. I suspect they will experiment with various types and see what works and what doesn't work. And they are working on technologies to make themselves immortal, to make themselves effectively gods in their eyes, because they believe that the gods originally were androgynous and immortal, and then they are going to kill the gods and take the gods' place. And they think that their means to accomplish all this is by scapegoating us for all of their sins, so that through our suffering and pain and horror, we suffer the punishments that enable them to be cleansed of their sins, because there has to be a price paid. But it won't be paid by the sinners. It won't be paid by them. It will be paid by us. And the worse they can make our hell, they think, the more that their sins will be cleansed, and the more holy they will become, and the more godlike and ultimately gods that they will become, the more powerful gods they will become, by causing us to suffer and die. And all of their literature compels them to completely kill us off, as Esau, as the Amalekites. They believe they are commanded to utterly exterminate us, to destroy all of our property, to destroy all of our farm animals. If you read 1 Samuel chapter 15, if you read Deuteronomy chapter 7, chapter 20, chapter 25, if you read Exodus, I think it's 19, they're commanded to kill our farm animals, and that's what they're doing. They're destroying the genetics of our groves, of our farms, of the animals that we depend upon for food. This is all part of the process of exterminating Amalek, of killing off the bison so that the Plains Indians die. We are the Plains Indians. We are the Palestinians, the Philistines, the Amalekites, the Canaanites. And they're going to kill all of us, and they're well on the way. They've already changed our DNA. We're no longer human beings anymore. We don't have the same DNA as our ancestors, and it's going to get progressively worse and worse very rapidly. And the situation is not hopeless. Again, if we have intelligent enough people to create a new society and superior technologies, we can defeat these people. And one of the great advantages that we have is that we won't be encumbered by all of this crazy mythology. And therefore, we can act rationally, and we can have data-driven solutions to what we face. And I think we are superior intellectually, morally, and that we can develop these superior technologies with which to defend ourselves. And again, I discuss that in my newest book, Intelligent Morality. I still have to upload it to my website. I've been so busy with many things. So if you don't find it there, you'll find it on Amazon. I'll try to get that up today. I may or may not succeed. Again, I want to thank my contributors. Again, I want to thank you for the Bitcoin. And I'll see all you wonderful people next time. And please help spread the word. This is vitally important to the survival of humanity. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And bye for now.